Do you think there's any there in New England with what has been reported with Belichick and Brady and the coach, just knowing how conversations can turn sideways behind the closed doors and be kept from the public, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking a relationship that spans 18 years, we're talking about Kraft, Brady, and Belichick, and as productive and as successful it's been, still, I mean, it's like being married for 18 years. At some point, something you say or do maybe doesn't quite set with you. And when you're talking about three people, not just two, but three, when you talk about the owner, the head coach, and a star player, any number of these things, you know, the two biggest issues appear to be, one, the trading of Jimmy Garoppolo, which to me is kind of like nobody wants to do it, but you kind of have to. If you've got a quarterback the level of Tom Brady that thinks he's going to play for a couple more years, and certainly based on what he's done this year, it's hard. I'm not going to be the one to say, no, you're done. But that relationship between, but you're probably close to being done, so we're going to keep this guy around, and what's it going to cost to keep him? You know, he may not have gotten one of those $100 million contracts like he's going to get from San Francisco, but he wasn't going to get chump change to stick around to wait for Brady to leave. So it's kind of one of those things, well, we really don't have a lot of choice. Now, I mean, I'm sure Kraft didn't want to do it. I'm sure Belichick didn't want to do it. Brady was probably pretty ambivalent to it. So however it came down, however it was communicated, and in terms of Brady's guy being around, when I was leaving coaching, that was just beginning. When the personal train, everybody's got their own personal guys. Just like when they need surgery, right? What do? They go to some specialist. They don't go to the team doctors that they work with every day at the facility. They fly off and see Andrews or one of these other guys for a specialist. It's just what players do. Well, they all have their individual workout gurus, and we had to make the decision. Well, do we say no? If we want you to work on our facility with our guys. Of course, they have the right in the off season, in particular, to say no. I'm going to go over with my guy. So you can let them do that, or you can let that guy in the building. So at least now you can monitor what's going on. And it sounds like that's what they were doing. Now, that stresses you a little bit. That stresses the training staff. It stresses the weight coaches. And now everybody wants to do that. So I can see where that becomes a bit of a contention. But my guess is this is much ado about nothing in terms of the rift. It's just a matter of them sorting through, well, okay, this is the way we're going to operate. They're in a tough spot, as tough as having Tom Brady as your quarterback can be.
No, sure.
Let's remember what happened with Troy Aikman and how that ended, and they kept extending and extending and extending. And once he was done, all that dead money, it took them a couple of years to kind of regroup from it. And New England's kind of looking at the same thing with Brady. So this is not an easy dynamic.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.